Yeah, definitely. Oh no, no, I'm not gonna say yeah, definitely because every time I say yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. Ah, okay.
You need
Once.
a jar. You need a jar where to put like a little bit of money every time you say it, and every arm you say you put a little bit of money. I think you'll be rich. You know?
I would be very rich. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back. It's so nice to have you here again, and we hope that you are all right. In our last video, we talked about how long and how often we practice, and today we are going to dive deeper into how to actually practice, and especially how complete vocal technique has affected our practicing habits.
In my case, it made a huge difference. I remember when I was starting out with singing practice, because of my first teacher, he didn't really see the potential in me. So I was very afraid to practice at home. So the only place that I had for practicing, of course, my parents are very lovely and they accept me, but you know, I was just too judgmental on myself. So the only place that I had was the church that I was serving in. They gave me the keys to that place, and even though there was like 10 degrees, because it was like an old building, I was going there and I was just practicing, you know, note by note on the piano. It was only that I was practicing. I was all the time working on the intervals because this is what my teacher told me to do. Even though, of course, those kind of exercises are very good if it's about working on hearing and, you know, just getting the right pitch. He told me, for example, to practice the intervals on A or O, so, you know, the vowels. But I think he just, maybe at that time, I don't want to disrespect him, but at that time that he was teaching me, he didn't have the knowledge about the vowels. This is how it looks from my perspective. Because, for example, when I was trying to reach higher notes and I had some problems, I just didn't have any skills. I didn't know how to maybe manipulate the vowels, how to change them. I didn't know how to shape the vowels. I didn't know anything about maybe changing the position of my tongue. It was just like a mystery. So that is actually something that I was working on, and also what I was surprised and what actually CVT changed, that I was all the time working on some exercises and I didn't know why I was doing it, because it wasn't related to the song that, for example, I wanted to work on. It was just like exercise. I'm sure that, you know, my teacher, he wanted to lead me somewhere, but I didn't see the path that I was following. So it was a very long road for me, very hard, and I didn't see the progress that maybe I'm seeing now and that I saw after working with the CVT for a while. So that is a little from my side. How was it for you, Tabea?
Yeah, I was not knowing how to practice before CVT. I mean, I knew it a little bit because I used to have also violin lessons, and first with my mom and then later on with two other teachers that were both really good. And they were telling me just pick out the difficult bits and play them separately. So I also kind of apply that to singing, and even when teaching, I was also telling people in my lessons to do that. So that was one good thing that is, I think, very similar to what CVT teaches us as well, to just maybe separate a little bit, tear it apart and simplify it sometimes a bit more, slow it down or whatever, and then go back to the whole piece. And that was something that I was already doing, and it kind of made sense. But then in terms of vowels and modes, a little bit like you say, I was not really sure how to actually practice. So I was always a bit of a monkey, and many singing teachers told me that. You're imitating a lot, it's good, that's a good thing. And yeah, maybe it's a good thing because you learn fast, but you don't actually know what you just learned. So when you then practice on your own, you're not really aware of what to do. So you just play with your muscle memory and try to find the right spot that you had in the lesson. And that may or may not work. So most of the times it worked, and that's why I also was really happy with my singing teacher in college. And I mean, sometimes he was a bit more specific about what he wanted, or how he wanted me to sing something. But in general, I was always using my muscle memory and the sensations that I was feeling. And it really helped me in some ways. But whenever I was feeling differently one day, and I mean, that can happen to anyone because we are not always feeling the same every day. We are often sick or maybe not having a good day or whatever, and it's just not helping. Then the muscle memory, if you don't know what you were actually doing in physical terms, in terms of tongue position, setting, vowels and everything, as you said, Daria, with vowel shaping, then you're totally lost because maybe your muscle memory feels really different that day and you cannot find the right spot anymore. So you start stressing out and you start getting tense, and that's when the constrictions start coming in. And that's when hoarseness appears or whatever. So for some periods of time, after my college studies in Germany, I actually switched teachers, and I was with one teacher that I was not happy at all with her, and she wanted to totally change everything, and she was also a very negative person in general, telling me, this is not for you, this is not for your voice, you cannot sing this, you cannot sing that. And I was just feeling very constricted with her all the time, just because of her character like that already. Because she was so negative. And then I lost all the work that I had done with my previous teacher in college. And because it was merely based on muscle memory and sensations and also a specific sound, maybe an acoustic thing, it was difficult for me to find it again because I didn't actually know what I was doing in terms of vowels. So I would just practice and try and find the right spot again, and at the same time keep her happy, which she never was, by the way. And then maybe I was getting hoarse after 15 or 20 minutes of practicing. I could not sing any longer. And that was a very difficult time. And then
it must have been difficult.
And now with CVT, there's still a lot that I have to learn, but I feel so much more confident. I know where to go. I find the issue way faster because I can hear it and I can feel it, not just hear it. And also one really good trick that I often apply when practicing and that I really encourage people to do it is just record yourself, if possible on video, but at least on audio, so that you can actually hear it from the outside, and often you still spot a few things, and then you can see how to work on them separately, maybe again simplify. So that's pretty much my story behind the practicing methods.
It's a good idea to record yourself, and I also say that, but when I have to record myself, it's not that easy. So I understand everybody who is struggling with that. You're never gonna love it. It's a really difficult thing to get used to your voice on audio, and if you record yourself on video, it's even more terrible because you're like, I really look like that. But when you got humbled down, once you're past that point, maybe it's more efficient to say why, not just I sound like rubbish or I don't like how I sound, but actually ask yourself, why is it that I don't like it? What is it specifically that I don't like? And then what
maybe
can I improve?
Exactly. So be more specific, not just destructive and negative about what you don't like, that the fact that you don't like it, but why? Ask yourself why, and then maybe it's also easier to get over the point of hearing yourself on a recording and be more objective. It's not easy to be objective, especially with ourselves, but it really helps to improve the singing when practicing on your own. So that is my warmest recommendation.
A good one.
And Daria, I was just wondering, because you were telling me that you were practicing in that place, in the church with a very low temperature. How did that actually affect your voice? And were there other weird practicing places? I mean, the church is not weird, but what is the weirdest place where you've been practicing?
Yeah, I mean, there were not many weird places.
Okay.
I would say just the car or this church.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they were weird. Maybe weird if it's about the condition, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's what I meant.
was,
I mean, yeah.
yeah, I know. It was hard. It was hard because it was very cold. I really love hot temperatures. So I was just, sitting in a coat in front of the piano, or there was a small room where I could turn on the heater. So I was sitting there just with the guitar, just trying, to get the right notes and just to work on the intervals again. So what I didn't mention before, I was also working with my first teacher on the emotions.
Oh.
And that was actually very nice. So for example, I was working on a song and then I had to sing one verse like being happy and then being sad and then being angry. And in the beginning, and maybe not even in the beginning, maybe for a long time, because I couldn't open up. It was hard for me. When we were then listening to that recordings, it sounded almost the same. But it's a very nice exercise, guys, to try to sing even one verse or one sentence in one emotion and then change it. It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's about the interpretation.
Totally, yeah. I think also if you are a little stuck in your practicing, that's a very good recommendation from Daria, that you maybe just, because interpretation and technique, they often go together. So I would say if you feel a bit stuck in your practice one day or for some period of time, then just use the interpretation. Especially if you're an emotional person, but also if you're not, it may help you to actually get more connected to your emotions, and sometimes the result can be beautiful. So, and very helpful as well. And maybe the technique improves on its own in that moment. It's just, of course, then good to record it, as Daria did, and then listen to it again. If you record it on video, even better, because then you can also see what did I actually do with my mouth, with my tongue and everything.
Yeah, and coming back just a little to the CVT and their approach to exercising. What it changed in my case is that the CVT is very structured. We have modes, we have some steps that we need to follow. And what they told us at the beginning of the studies, for example, while practicing a certain mode, is just to take that mode, follow some simple rules, some steps, follow the vowels, and practice 5 minutes for 3 weeks. And then you're done. Then you have it. So it's not that hard. It shouldn't be that hard because it's just something natural for our mouth, for our tongue, for the vocal cords to work like that if you follow certain rules.
Yeah, and I totally agree. Just doing a little work, 5-10 minutes every day. And like Daria said, after 2-3 weeks, you already feel that you have improved. So it's just a little effort every day. You almost don't notice it. And yeah, after a short time, you're actually there.
Yeah, then you have another goal and it's a never-ending story. But this is why we live, right? To make progress all the time.
Yeah, the most important thing is to know how, and then if you know how and you feel that there's a little progress every week or every month, it's also more enjoyable, the whole journey.
So guys, that would be all for today. If you have any questions to us, just leave that in the comments. We hope you like it. And we see you in 2 weeks.
Yes, and if you're interested in booking sessions with us, we are going to leave our contact details in the description below. and also some timestamps. So yeah, that's everything. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it and have a great time and a lovely practice journey.
Bye!